Good morning everyone, welcome to today's seminar on the spirit of Vatican II under Pope Leo XIV, continuity of reform. The Second Vatican Council remains one of the most transformative moments in the Catholic Church's recent history, calling for renewal, openness, and dialogue with the modern world. It spiritualizes the Church to be both faithful to tradition and responsive to contemporary needs. Under the leadership of Pope Leo XIV, the spirit is being interpreted and lived out in new ways. On the pro side, supporters highlight how Pope Leo XIV emphasizes synodality, involving all Catholics in decision making, and promotes interreligious dialogue to foster peace in a pluralistic world. He also places a strong focus on social justice, addressing poverty, climate change, and global conflict, reviving the Church's missionary zeal. His leadership style is seen as inclusive, humble, and service-oriented, making the Church more accessible and compassionate. Furthermore, Pope Leo XIV embraced a reform in continuity approach, balancing respect for doctrine with necessary renewal to remain relevant. On the contrast side, critics raise concern about a conservative tilt that strengthens hierarchical authority and limits lay participation. His rejection of women's ordination and limit openness toward LGBT and communities are viewed as obstacles to greater inclusivity. Some argue that his reforms are too moderate and slow, leaving the full promise of Vatican II unfulfilled, especially in empowering the laity and renewing church structures. Additionally, his engagement with political and social issues sometimes sparks controversy, with accusations that the Church's spiritual mission become overshadowed by politics. Today, we will explore this perspective instead, seeking to understand how Pope Leo XIV's papacy navigates the tension between continuity and reform, and what this means for the future of the Church.
From this topic, we have many arguments of this topic, and first, we continuing the spirit of Vatican II with broader synodality and dialogue. Pope Leo XIV consistently emphasized synodality, which means listening to and involving all Catholics, not just the hierarchy in church decision making. This is a real implementation of Vatican II spirits, which calls the church to be a living and open community. He also promotes interreligious and intercultural dialogue, a key focus of Vatican II, to build peace and mutual understanding in an increasingly pluralistic world.
And second point, strong focus on social justice and the church mission relevant to today's challenge. Pope Leo XIV pays great attention to social issues such as poverty, injustice, climate change, and global conflict. He called the church to be an active voice for the poor and marginal, in line with Vatican II teaching that the church serves both people and the world. This revives the church missionary spirit, focusing not only on spirituality but also on concrete action for the common good.
The third arguments, we know that we must inclusive, humble, and service-oriented leadership. Our Pope Leo XIV inclusive and compassionate leadership style brings the church closer to people and real-world issues. He speaks not only in complex theological dialogues, language, but also in simple human terms. This humility and service reflect Vatican II desire for the church to be a home for all, rather than an exclusive and closed institution.
Okay. Point 4. Reform and continue renewing without losing tradition. Pope Leo XIV stresses that church doctrine remains unchanged, but the way the church interacts with the world must be renewed to stay relevant today. This approach is known as the hermeneutic of continuity, introduced by the Pope Benedict XVI. This Pope Leo XIV tries to balance faithfulness to tradition with the need to adapt to modern developments.
And thank you for your opinion. And we have the
Yes.
contra argument.
Do you have an argument contra about this
Yes.
topic?
Yes.
Yes, I think you can convey to us.
Yes. Please.
For number 1, conservative tendencies and strengthening hierarchical authority. Some groups criticize Pope 14 for strengthening the church's hierarchical authority and reducing space for dialogue and lay participation. They feel that this approach may hinder the openness and renewal expected from Vatican II. For example, in some liturgical and moral issues, Pope Leo XIV tends to emphasize strict and traditional rules.
And the second opinion from me, rejection of women's ordination and limited openness to LGBTQ communities. Pope Leo XIV's rejection of women's tradition is seen by some progressive groups as blocking more inclusive and equal reforms. Also, the lack of openness toward LGBTQ communities is criticized as inconsistent with the spirit of inclusivity and love taught by Vatican II.
And the third point, to moderate and slow in implementing reforms. There is also criticism that Pope Leo XIV is too cautious and slow to take bold reform steps. This makes some faithful and observers feel that the spirit of change promoted by Vatican II has not been fully realized, especially regarding empowering the laity and renewing church structures.
And the fourth argument is political issue and social controversies in fighting criticism.
Yes.
Pope Leo XIV's criticism of certain political figures and emphasis on social issues like environment and justice are seen by some as too political. This causes controversy and criticism that the church focus becomes too politicized, obscuring its spiritual and pastoral mission.
So, everyone, in conclusion, the spirit of Vatican II under Pope Leo XIV presents a complex and dynamic reality. His supporters commend his commitment to synodality, social justice, inclusive leadership, and a balanced reform that honors tradition while engaging the modern world. These efforts reflect a genuine attempt to live out the Council's vision in today's challenged context. At the same time, critics remind us of the ongoing tensions within the Church between hierarchy and laity, tradition and progress, spiritual mission and political engagement, concern about conservatism, limit inclusivity and cautious reform highlight that the journey of renewal inspired by Vatican II is far from complete. Ultimately, the question of continuity of reform is not a simple answer or but a delicate balance. Pope Leo XIV purposely invites the Church to walk this path thoughtfully, embracing both fidelity and openness, so that the Church may remain a living missionary community for the world. Thank you for the attention and active participants in this important discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.